Hey guys, in this video I'm going to tell you why some people shouldn't move to the Philippines. Stick around. So today's video is going to be a little bit different than my normal video. My normal videos I'm usually preaching about how wonderful the Philippines really is and why you should move out here. And the truth of the matter is the Philippines is a great place for a lot of people. And for some people, it is not such a great place. There's a lot of people that come out here and they don't like it. And they choose to go back home, or they choose to go back or maybe go to a different country. Just depends on the person. So when you do initially get out here, you really should, I mentioned this in my previous video, which you can see in the link up above here, but you should always have a plan B and a plan C just in case. You should also come up to the Philippines for a couple of months, a test run is what I like to call it. Make sure you really do like it before you've sold all your stuff and got rid of your house and your car and all of that. Make sure you really do like it. But that's not really what today's video is all about. Today's video is about why some people shouldn't be in the Philippines. Now, I say that, and I also say that it's up to the individual. Some individuals I will tell that you should be cautious about coming out here, and some people are going to still make a decision to come out here, and it might work out for them. So there's always exceptions to the rules, but for some people you should be a bit more cautious. So what type of people are those? So number one, let's start with people who have existing health issues. Now, the Philippines is not known for great medical care. In Southeast Asia, two countries come to mind that are known for medical tourism, and that would be Thailand and Malaysia. So if you do have some existing health problems and you're thinking of coming out here to live, you may want to consider one of those countries. Now, Malaysia does speak English, Thailand doesn't. There's pros and cons to both. I'm not here to review Malaysia or Thailand for you. Now, if you do decide to go ahead and move out to the Philippines, I would recommend you don't live way out in the province. That is not a wise decision, in my opinion, because 911 virtually doesn't exist. And where it does exist, by the time they get out to you, you're probably long gone. I hate to say it, but it's just the reality. Most people who get into like serious motorbike accidents, if they had good ambulatory services that were able to get to you quickly, and often they can't even get to you quickly, even if they can dispatch an ambulance to you quickly, they can't get through the traffic often. So by the time they do get out to you, or by the time somebody even calls while you're laying there on the side of the road, it might be too late at that point. Now, if you've had a serious heart attack and you're at home, by the time somebody got out to you, same thing. You're probably better off hopping into your own vehicle if you have one. That's the thing. And if you do have one, and then you yourself getting through traffic and trying to get into the hospital. So again, these are things that people should really think about. And if you do have some existing health issues, severe diabetes, heart issues, recovering from cancer. I'm not going to get through the whole list here, but you should consider then either a couple of options. Either one, living in a major city like Cebu City and being near one of the major hospitals, or in Manila, someplace like that. Do not live way out on the province. That's not a good idea. Some people might make a decision and say, you know what, I just want to enjoy the last few years of my life, and they're not worried about it. Again, this is not a video about telling you what you should and shouldn't do. I'm just putting out some cautions for you and maybe some alternatives. So either you stay in the Philippines or you don't come out to the Philippines. And if you do stay in the Philippines near a major hospital in one of the bigger cities, or you possibly consider maybe a country like Malaysia or Thailand who has medical tourism. Now, another thing I did want to mention with medical, a lot of people will ask me, they'll say, hey, I have a disability and I need to get around in a scooter, or I need to get around in a wheelchair. How is the Philippines set up? Now, I'll be brutally honest, the Philippines is not a country set up for people with disabilities. Honestly, it really isn't. Again, I would tell people the same thing. you probably need to be in a major city. You probably need to be in Cebu or Manila. And if you're in Manila, you could be in BGC or Makati. And they do have, or they have built existing infrastructure to help people with disabilities and, you know, ramps and so forth. And same with, also same with Cebu. Now in IT Park, it's not so bad. Cebu Business Park isn't so bad. They have built ramps and stuff going into the malls and the sidewalks. Mactan, Newtown, also where I'm at in Lapu-Lapu here, just outside of Cebu City, is also a great option. And I have noticed they have built the ramps and the doors are nice and big. But this is not like the West, okay? It's not like when you go up to a door, you can hit the button that's got the person in the wheelchair symbol and the doors open up for you and you can go ahead and go right in. No, you're going to have to get somebody to open the door for you. They'll have ramps. But for example, in Cebu City in IT Park, which is a very well-developed kind of Western pocket in Cebu City, does have sidewalks and everything throughout. But there are areas where I've noticed that there'll just be stairs and there'll be a sign that says, please assist anyone in a wheelchair. Now, instead of building a smaller ramp where they could perhaps go up themselves, no, they never even did that. They built stairs and then they put up a sign saying, please assist. So you would have to literally sit there by the stairs if you were in a wheelchair and wait for somebody to assist you or ask somebody, a couple people to help you up the stairs. So that's not exactly convenient. Now in Mactan, Newtown, there are ramps all the way throughout. So that would be someplace to consider. Again, if you're somebody with a disability where you need to be in a wheelchair or a walker or something like that, another city might be better, or another country rather, perhaps Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, perhaps other places in Southeast Asia. So that is something I wanted to mention. Now, second is a lot of people will come out here and they watch these vloggers, and I am not one of them. And some people do this, and other. I think most of the vloggers that I know are pretty realistic about this. But some people give the illusion that you really can come out here and live for $500 a month. Yes, you can. Certainly, you can. Will you have an enriched life? I don't know. I suppose that depends on the person. Now, me personally, I didn't come out here to live at a lower level or lower standard than I already live at. I came out here with the view that I would live at least the same level, and in most aspects of my life, I wanted to live a better life. It's not always tied down to money. It's tied down to, happiness. Less possessions for me equals happiness. All the stuff behind me is all part of the furnished apartment, part of the furnished condo rather. And, I don't need to buy a lot of stuff. I have, some things that I do buy when I do settle into an area for a while, and I have no problem offloading that stuff again or giving it away when it's time to move on for me. But back to the point of a very small budget. A lot of people will come out here and say, okay, I want to get to the Philippines. And I think that's fantastic. If you want to come out and live out in Southeast Asia or the Philippines and you want to live a better life, I still think you really need to really think things through and get your money, your income, your savings. You need to get all that stuff squared away first. You need to have a good emergency fund. If you're coming out here and you want to live on $500 a month, I'm assuming that you probably don't have a huge savings. So if something does happen, some medical emergency, you need to get home for any reason, $500 a month isn't going to cut it. And if anything happens, you could be caught up in some liability suit where you cause an accident and all of a sudden you're responsible to pay for somebody. And that happens in the Philippines. So you have to be careful with that kind of stuff. So again, be realistic. $500 a month. Some people do come out here and absolutely do it, and they're okay with it. Most people, for the most part, are not okay with that. I think the majority of us want to come out here and enrich our lives. We don't want to live at a lower standard than what we lived before. In some aspects, you're going to have a better life. Yes, you might be more happy, but you can live a good life. I mean, look at this condo behind me. It's $400 a month. And I would imagine even after the pandemic, you're going to be able to find deals like that. So budget yourself, accordingly and realistically. Don't come out here thinking because you watch some vlog that somebody says, hey, I live out in the province and $500 a month. Yeah, but you're eating all Filipino food. You never have extra money to really spoil yourself. Will you be able to go on trips and visit other islands at $500 a month? Not likely. Will you be able to take care of yourself if some medical emergency happens or an emergency back home where you need to get back home? Not likely. Will you be able to support somebody if you find somebody serious and all of a sudden you got to support her and maybe she expects you to at least throw $100 her way to help her and her family, which is realistic out here? That's probably not going to happen. So again, be realistic. $500 a month just isn't cutting it. It really isn't. Come out here and do a test run and actually apply those principles and see if you really can live at a certain amount each month. If you come out here for a couple of months for a test run, you can kind of, you can set up an Airbnb or something and kind of see how it would be, eating at home every day and your entertainment and see what your budget could be, and perhaps you can kind of get a test of a feeling of what life would be like, before you make that move and sell all your worldly possessions and everything. Another thing, if you are a guy who has some issues, and there's a lot of them here in the Philippines, there's a lot of guys that come out here who probably shouldn't be out here, to be honest. There's a lot of guys who come out here with some issues. They've got drinking problems and stuff, and these are the guys that go into a Filipino bar and get into some fight, and it doesn't usually end well for them. I'm not going to get too much into that topic, but if you do have some issues going on, you might want to sort those out before you go move to another country and have those same issues in another country. You might want to have your support system back home until those issues are taken care of, family around and things like that. But just some things I wanted to make people aware of. And again, the Philippines is not for everybody. I don't want to sit and preach to everybody that this is just paradise, because for many people, it's not. They're miserable. I have some people who, you talk to expats, they all gather around sometimes and they all complain. You go into some of the expat groups like Cebu Foreigners Club or Cebu Expats, and it's just a bunch of bitter old people. Often, I shouldn't even say old. It's just a bunch of bitter people, and they back and forth and complaining all the time. And I just wonder, why are you here? If you're here to complain, why did you make this move out here? And so again, things that could be solved with a test run out here. Don't sell all your worldly possessions and sell your car and give up your house and your job and all of this until you know for sure that you really like it. And, things to think about. Okay. So if you guys have any questions, comments, other things that maybe other people should be aware about, or maybe a reason that they shouldn't move out here, go ahead and comment down below, guys. I appreciate you watching. Don't forget, if you did like this video, hit the thumbs up. It does help with the YouTube algorithm. And share the video if you found it useful. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. Hit that bell notification. That'll keep you updated every time I come on.
Come on.
Thank you so much. See you guys next time.
I said, baby, I know you're on a roll. Sweet honey, let's take it real slow.